now that it's becoming more like acceptable and appropriate for a lot of people who are terrified of their quote unquote brand being associated or tarnished in any capacity with like Israel Palestine stuff, you'll see a lot more people like openly reveal takes, okay, openly say what their points are. And I think, I mean, something I said back then, this was like months ago, was if you come out after like, 20 months of, or 18 months at the time, I think it was, of like genocide to like make a statement, and your statement revolves around like how all of these people that were correct from the start are actually evil and bad or whatever, and that your feelings really matter in this process. Like if you come out and do any of that like wishy-washy shit, or if you come out and do any of this like both sides are kind of bad type bullshit when you're talking about like free Palestine, the genocide that is happening, then I'm gonna talk about it. It's sad to see, but that's basically what ContraPoints did, like to a T almost. Okay, and I like ContraPoints. I've never had any issues with her. I don't really care about like all the other controversies that she's been in or whatever. You know what I mean? She's, for those of you who don't know, ContraPoints is a bread tuber. She was one of the OG bread tubers. Like she would make these really long, well thought out YouTube video essays. Bisexual lighting, all of that, right? And she had been, I guess, noticeably absent. I don't really run around being like, why is my favorite YouTuber not saying anything about this issue or that issue or whatever? I mean, it is odd when like you're a political content creator, or you have major political opinions be known, and you don't really say anything about like perhaps one of the most impactful global incidents, a genocide that is unfolding in real time. It is odd, but I never was like, why won't you say anything, right? And I guess people were doing that a lot. So she did, she came out and like released something, not on Twitter, mind you, but instead on Reddit, which is, I guess, like a less hostile space to reveal this kind of thing. There are a multitude of different reasons as to why people don't speak out about the genocide that is unfolding in front of our eyes. For many content creators who like understand the violence that is happening, they might be worried about fucking up the bag, for example. For some others, they're worried about the saying something wrong and then being like ridiculed or bullied or attacked, which is part of the reason why they will just say, oh yeah, free Palestine, and then they move on, right? Or like they rarely ever engage in this kind of stuff because it is supposed to be a third rail. It was considered the third rail of politics by design for a very long time, right? They don't want to they don't want people to go after their advertisers. Why are people so afraid? What do you mean? Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I've spent most of my professional career combating anti-Semitism, and still do to this day. And it's like not even a question. Like people will just immediately be like, he's an anti-Semite, he's a terrorist, take his money away, deplatform him, don't put him on any fucking news outlets. Like, what the fuck? No one should watch him. Why do people watch him? Like people get really fucking vicious. There are entire networks organized around like doing this kind of like horrible thing, right? They will turn people into pariahs, right? By design. That is the point. That is the purpose, right? You get put on a list, and then people will actively come after you to try to like ruin your fucking livelihood. But in any case, that's like part of the reason why a lot of people are afraid of it, because it's like the real type of cancel culture, right? It's not like cancel culture because you like said something that was fucked up when you were like a teenager, and now people are unearthing that and like yelling at you over it, like, but it's gonna go away in like a week. I'm talking like real cancel culture, like you're not allowed to, you get charged with terrorism like Kneecap did, or they won't let you advertise your band in the London metro stations like Kneecap did, or you get put on a list and then you have prominent civil rights groups like the ADL routinely coming after you in mainstream media and just like smearing you because who the fuck's going to say anything? Who's going to push back? You get your visas canceled. Like those are the real impactful, real consequential cancel culture shits, right? Not like a bunch of people on Twitter yelled at you for whatever you fucking said back in the day. And I think that that's a real reason why a lot of people don't say anything. But Natalie is a smart person, like a much smarter, much better thought out person than these people that I'm talking about. She's not like a random influencer that otherwise does like makeup blogs or whatever. And that's the reason why she's like trying to avoid controversy, because she doesn't want to get her like Lush sponsorship taken away from her. This is a political essayist, right? So I guess, and I didn't like look too deeply into this at all, but I guess like the reason why she didn't say anything about this for a very long time was because, and by her own admission, it was because you won't like what she has to say. She was a PhD candidate in philosophy before YouTube. I know. I will say this much. As someone who really appreciates ContraPoint's perspective, as someone who has collaborated with her, as someone who's talked to her, someone who's met her, I will say I'm disappointed. Okay, it's. I know that everyone will say I told you so, whatever, but like, it still sucks. Okay, it still sucks, and maybe some people will say, "What's wrong with her response? She didn't say anything wrong, right?" And I think she basically crafted a message as to why she had not spoken about this issue that much, with the exception of the limited times that she said stuff about it, was because she couched it in like a hyper focus of whatever the fucking online left is doing. Okay? How can you be disappointed in her when she did a friendly collab with Hillary Clinton? Yeah, I didn't really care about that too much. Like, I didn't read too much into it. And I know people will say, well, she did a collaboration with Hillary Clinton. I think like that just spells that like someone is interested in pushing their platform further. That's what it could be. You know what I mean? BreadTube got a lot of people on the right track in the last 10 years. I understand why people would be disappointed. Can't be bothered with people post-game playcasting. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, I think that she had a lot of impactful videos for a lot of people. Like, I'm not going to undermine that. I'm not going to discount that. It's like literally what I do. You know, I try to convince people not to be their old selves, right? And I think if someone has been impactful in a lot of people's lives in that regard, it just hurts to see. But in any case, I think this is her real opinion. This is just her true opinion, and she tried to couch it in an intellectual way. But I do think that it's a very cowardly way to deal with something that is so awful, so black and white. Not a lot of things are black and white in this world. Genocide is one of those things that's literally black and white. Chattel slavery and genocide, two things that are fucking black and white. Okay. Straight up. So any sort of like, oh, I don't know, what about the other side's opinions? What about the other side's feelings on in the matter? Like, you are trying to intellectualize your biases in the wrong direction on this issue. Okay? That's it. It's a super simple situation. Masquerading this as like a conflict that puts progressive people who care about Palestinian emancipation against Jews is unironically a anti-Semitic thing to do. It's just a straightforward anti-Semitic thing to do, because this is not about Jews versus Palestinians. That's what the media wants you to think. That's what the media wants you to focus on. And I think like it is especially dangerous to make this conflation right now, when the overwhelming majority of Americans and the overwhelming majority of people in the Western world have very clearly recognized the reality that this is an unsustainable and truly immoral situation. So then it's basically like associating ISIS to Islam, but you're doing it in a way where you want to be woke and anti-Islamophobia almost. As you guys know, I normally shy away from talking about whatever is percolating in the takeosphere, right? I don't really talk about like the quote unquote drama and things of that nature, but there is one exception, and that is when someone has a political perspective or a take or something, especially as it pertains to this issue, that's usually when I explain the shitty drama. It's not like, I don't think this is quote unquote drama is what I'm trying to say. I think this is beyond that. I think this is political discourse. So many leftists feel betrayed because I haven't made a video on Palestine. Do they actually want a ContraPoints video on Palestine? Will they be happy if I get in the bath and pour milk on a mannequin of Benjamin Netanyahu? No. I have posted about Gaza occasionally and have quietly given money to Palestinian aid organizations. But I think that what leftists really want is for me to join their chorus of anger. They sense some hesitation on my part and are judging me very harshly on my presumed opinions. I'd rather be judged on my actual opinions. So here they are. Is Israel committing a genocide in Gaza? Yes. Do I oppose it? Yes. Do I feel angry about it? Yes. I also feel a lot of other things. I think if she had basically stopped it here, even here, this is like kind of silly. To be like, look, I'm a content creator. I talk about a litany of different issues. I've done all of this stuff. Is Israel doing a genocide in Gaza? Yes. Do I oppose it? Yes. Is Israel an apartheid state? Yes. Free Palestine. Boom. It's over. No controversy. Okay? No issue whatsoever. Like, why is this being treated as though it is it's annoying or it's inconveniencing? Like, why is this? Like, would we say this about the Holocaust? I mean, plenty of people, I'm sure, they didn't have the full knowledge of the Holocaust when it was happening. But I'm sure plenty of people, if they did, would have a similar opinion back then, right? But it's just so incredibly disingenuous. What's frustrating about this entire thing, and I mentioned this before, and I repeated myself last night, and I know everyone was like, oh, is this about ContraPoints? It's like, it's not. It's not just about ContraPoints. This is for everyone. This statement is universal, okay? So before I get to reading the rest of this, the but and then the post but part of ContraPoint's statement, okay? Here's what my opinion is. Has not changed for the past 2 years at this point. If you are like me, a spoiled child of America, okay? If you live in the heart of empire, and your tax dollars are contributing to unlimited bloodshed in the global south, but especially in Palestine right now, especially in Gaza right now, and your focus after 20 months of live streamed Holocaust of men, women, and children in Gaza, the complete and utter annihilation, death and destruction in Gaza is still on your personal feelings, how you feel about it, how the personal hysterics that you have developed around this issue because of the takes that you see online. Okay, if you continue to center yourself, and you are just like me, perhaps the most spoiled person on the planet, living in the United States of America automatically qualifies as the most privileged people on the fucking planet. Okay, anything beyond unconditional support to the Palestinian emancipatory movement, anything beyond unconditional support to the victims of genocide is ridiculous, okay? It's been 20 months. It's been 20 months. We've all seen the death. We've all seen the destruction. Stop trying to rationalize away and stop trying to normalize this death and destruction. It's not normal. People recognize that it's not normal. And our institutions are seemingly immovable. And yet we still persist, and yet we still continue to push them with the hopes that we can enact some sort of positive change, hopefully one day get some semblance of justice. But if you're not going to do all that, if you can't see Palestinians as humans, but simply victims of circumstance, okay? Simply just a group of people that you don't want to think about as people, as human beings, okay? As a part of growing up in the United States of America, you are automatically luckier than a Palestinian child. This is ridiculous. It's not even a fucking question. You would never say this about a Jewish child that was sent to fucking Auschwitz. Okay? The only reason why you feel like you can say this is because something in your brain is stopping you from recognizing these people as human beings. That's it. That is at the heart of this controversy. Okay? If you try to intellectualize why Palestinians are suffering, if you do all of this, instead of just like looking at this and seeing right from wrong, You're worse than like half of these fucking conservatives, man. Half of these conservatives who are like genuinely ruthless people, okay? Incredibly selfish people. Even they, like I know someone, okay, that is related to a person who was at January 6th. That's how much of a fucking MAGA booster they are. And they find what Israel is doing to be unconscionable. They're evangelical. They grew up with the mentality that Jews are special class people that must get Israel so that we can trigger the rapture. There are people like that have seen the fathers carrying their daughters and their sons in plastic bags, the remains of them, and that's it. For them, it's over. Like this is such a uniquely violent circumstance. Okay, we've never had an instance where like we have seen the Holocaust unfold in real time. That has never happened. Okay. In the past, we've had glimpses of it, you know what I mean? Illegal incursions, death, destruction, violence, but never to this degree and never in broad daylight in real fucking time. Except the Holocaust? No. The Holocaust is actually exactly the original Holocaust is exactly what I'm talking about. Are you kidding me? There was no internet, and half of the people outside of the German occupied territories were completely oblivious to what was going on in the death camps. Some Jews were suspicious. Some people that were being shipped to the Holocaust, to the concentration camps, were suspicious, and understandably so. They took action. The partisans did, right? But for the most part, people were not this tuned in to everything that was going on until the camps were liberated. Nazi propaganda, just like Israeli propaganda, was fairly strong at the time. And there were also obviously technological limitations that stopped people from figuring things out. There were surveillance reports that came out. Like I remember reading something about the British spy agencies initially writing reports on these death camps. And it was so violent. It was so unimaginably violent. People didn't even believe it. Okay? They were like, there's no way that's real. And in spite of all of that, the Nazis also made a fake, sanitized version of a camp that they brought the German Red Cross to, which was Nazi affiliated, and then the International Red Cross Association to. These are all very famous incidents. Theresienstadt. Did I say it right? Probably not. Anyway, I'm moving away from the broader point that I was making, okay? Yes, a lot of these incidents might come across as familiar to you because that's precisely what Israel has been doing. They've been playing the Nazi-style Holocaust playbook in perpetuity, playing itself out every single day. The only unique instance here is that we get to see the people that are victims to it in real time, in broad daylight.